All
Hello.
right. We are back here once again, of course, for the next episode of A Conversation with Kely. This is episode 91, which I forgot to say, we crossed the 90 episode threshold yesterday, which is crazy to think about. We're almost to 100 episodes. But as always, I am here with my lovely and beautiful co-host, Allie. How are you doing tonight?
I'm good. I worked all day. Other than that, just came home and zoomed with one of our you and one of our friends.
Yes.
And other than that, just chilling.
I came home and took a nice old nap because I worked a good portion of the day and I didn't get a break. So
Aww.
Shout out to my work though. We love them. I don't know if they're watching.
Yes, shout out to my work too.
Yes. We're just shouting out our works as if they watch our podcast.
I mean, I've actually talked about it with Mark and stuff.
I have not, but maybe I should. But anyway, we're not here to talk about our, work activities and things like that. What we are here to talk about is the latest episode of Survivor 42, episode 10. Things are really starting to heat up. I feel like this episode, there was a lot of interesting things that went down. Believe it or not, there's only 3 episodes left until the game, which is crazy to think about. But I really do like where I think the season is headed overall. What did you think of this episode?
I actually really enjoyed this episode.
Yes.
Definitely better than last week's. It was just
last week's was good. Last week's was the double.
Sorry, what was the one I was thinking that was
the one before last week?
Oh, right. Sorry.
Yeah.
The one before last. Right.
I was going to say, last week's episode was amazing.
Yeah. That's the one that was kind of meh. But the double, love that so much. And then this one, I really like the way the direction is going. And like Omar's just impressing me every episode.
Oh my God. Yeah. I can't wait. Yeah.
And this episode is incredible.
Yeah, and I mean, I think it's pretty safe to say, because if you remember at this point with Survivor 40, everyone was kind of like, I'm like not as interested. I'm definitely still interested in this season. I think that this merge is a really interesting one, and I really like the direction it's headed. So we start off with Hai. He says that his tribal went exactly how he wanted to. He got his target out in Roxroy, and he knew his biggest obstacle was getting Mike's blessing. So he was so happy that he listened to him. And Mike talks about how he was definitive, but he truly was upset with himself, and he didn't know that it was coming. And we talked about this before, how Mike is one of those players who he's gotten kind of everything he's wanted up to this point. Yeah. I think we're hinting at a downfall for him. I really think we are.
I don't know. I feel like he has a chance to win, though. It's just
I think he's making it to the end. I do.
No, I feel like he could win, but I feel like he could also be maybe second place.
I feel like he's definitely going to make it to the finale. I just don't know where he's going to go after that. I just feel like this episode's starting to hint to the fact that maybe things aren't going to go his way. But we'll see. So we were just talking about Omar, and my God, I mean, he is becoming one of my favorites in this cast. He's easily one of the best strategically. The kind of strategy that he has now is one that I feel like a lot of people just are not catching on to, and he's doing such a great job with that. So he talks about how he's fine with the way everything went out because it's what he wanted, but he wants Mike to be a little bit more weary of Hai. And Mike doesn't like that he had to lie. And basically Omar's plan is to bring Mike closer to him and sever his relation with Hai. And Hai has given him enough ammunition to do that. And again, just really great round for Omar all around.
He's doing so amazing. He can definitely win.
No, definitely. And he was someone that I liked pre-merge, but I feel like this merge, he really has come out into his own, and he's become one of my favorites to win, honestly. I would love to see him potentially take the win in the end.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So yeah, I just, this whole strategy of him, especially with taking people who are not necessarily they're kind of in the outs on things, and him kind of using that to his advantage, and then planting that information to the other side and getting away with it. It's just masterful gameplay all around. As long as he continues to keep getting away with it, I think it'll be a really great game for him. So Drea says that she still has a few powers and she's going to play as hard as she really can. And then we get a segment with Lindsay. What? Lindsay gets a segment?
I know.
Actually, Lindsay gets a lot of segments in this episode.
This is literally Lindsay's episode.
Oh, yeah. No, it felt like they were like, you know what? We're going to purple Lindsay for most of the season, but we have all this great content. We don't know what to do with it. Just throw it all in the same episode. And that's exactly what they did here, because Lindsay gets a lot in this episode.
She does.
And honestly, is becoming a player that I'm liking a lot more, I think. I feel like the only reason we didn't like Lindsay is because we didn't really see much of her. Whereas now it's like that we're seeing her, I'm like, she's actually playing a really good game.
She's actually doing really well. Like,
yeah,
I could see her winning possibly.
I could definitely see it.
Like, I wasn't even really a huge fan of her season.
I don't know if I see her winning because she doesn't really have a winner edit at all.
She could get like maybe third or something.
Yeah. I definitely see her making it farther than I thought she would. And she's definitely not the Heather. Like, she's not the Heather of this season.
Not at all.
So Lindsay talks to Omar about how Jonathan screwed everything up with trying to target Drea and Marianne. Lindsay realizes that Jonathan isn't really great at strategy, which like we kind of knew, and she can't rely on him as much as she thought she could. And she thinks it make her look like she's in on his strategy, which she's really not. So she starts looking for the idol. Sadly, to no avail, she isn't able to find anything. We see a bit of a fire-making competition go down, and we get another really great segment with Marianne, who just, again, continues to just absolutely kill it in this game. She goes to look for firewood. She sees a tree right at the corner, and she finds something. So she found the merge idol. She's so excited. She says this puts her in a great position. She says finding an idol right after she played her other one shows that she's playing this game in the strategic sense and the moral sense. Things just keep going Marianne's way, and I'm fucking here for it.
I know.
The fact that she's now won
I hope she wins.
idol.
I mean, honestly, like, the ones I'm rooting for the most to win are probably Marianne and Drea.
Yeah.
But, like, most of this cast besides, like, Jonathan, like, everyone left besides Jonathan.
No, honestly, that's where I'm at, too. Like, I'm fine with anyone winning as long as it's not Jonathan, but I don't think Jonathan can win.
I mean, mainly because Jonathan's problematic.
Jonathan's also had such a horrifically bad, like, strategical game. So, like, I don't think he can win based on that.
The only thing he's really good at is the physical.
That's it. Yeah, he's terrible at the social aspect. He's bad at the strategic aspect. And the only reason to keep him around is because he's an easy beat. Like,
oh, yeah. Like, he's definitely someone to take to the end just to beat.
I'm becoming more and more convinced he's like going to be like Xander, where like he's at the end and he gets 0 votes. Except Xander was like not terrible. Like,
I know.
Jonathan's like what I thought Xander was going to be. That's the best way to describe him. Like, I thought Xander was going to be like this super problematic guy with like all these like, you know, really terrible views and things like that. Always thinking that like, you know, he's the target. Always thinking that like any sort of conversation about race or something like that is like about him. So, and it's turning out, no, that was just one season later. So not great. Not great. Not great. But at least the show is editing him the way they should now. I did want to bring that up.
Agreed.
Prior to this, they were kind of giving him this like heroes edit of sorts, and they very much like kind of like strayed away from that, which I'm glad. But I'm also wondering why they portrayed him in a heroes edit in the first place, because
like,
he's
not a hero
in any way. No.
Jeff announced a reward challenge. Everyone has to swim to shore and untie their sandbags. Yes. Whoever wins gets to eat hot pizza, cold beer, and will get to stay within the Survivor Sanctuary.
The last time that this happened, I'm pretty sure, is when Shan ended up leaving. I think that's when we did this last season. And they actually adjusted it a bit this time around. I think it's an even better reward.
Yeah. I like this reward.
Yeah.
And then Lindsay wins the reward.
Which was amazing. Like, so unexpected.
No, it's so good.
Like we said, this is literally Lindsay's episode. Like, she's sure she came to play.
Oh, yeah. She then gets to choose one person to join her. She chooses Omar based on the fact he hasn't gotten any reward before. And she also chooses Mike, which is I like who she chose.
The best part of this was seeing Jonathan's face and just how fucking like mad he was over the fact that she did this, when literally her only reasoning was just these people haven't gotten rewarded. Like, that's it. It wasn't anything like
she was being a good person, dude.
Yeah, she was just trying to like be fair and be like, well, you know, Mike hasn't really had much of an opportunity and neither has Omar. Like,
yeah,
I don't understand what the big deal is. But again, Jonathan loves to play the fucking victim. So
Marianne talks about how hard it is to be at the end. And everyone else prepares to create their own shelter for the night. And Hai says he's used to it because he didn't have the easiest childhood. His family immigrated from Vietnam when he was 3 years old, and watching them sacrifice for him and knowing how close they are to the end keeps him motivated.
This is a really good segment, I think, for Hai. They've done a really good job this season with all the personal stuff for all of these players, and I thought this was a really good moment for Hai, especially with what ends up happening with him. I thought that made sense to put this in.
I really love this segment, and and it was just a really great moment for him, and I love Hai.
Oh yeah. Hai's been like a great villain.
He has. Hai notices how much Lindsay singled out Jonathan and is hoping it's ammunition for her to target him this round.
Right, which I kind of thought that's what was going to happen here.
Right? I thought Jonathan was done.
Yeah.
At the sanctuary, Omar, Lindsay, and Mike enjoy pizza and also are treated to messages and pictures from their family.
Which, correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think they got that last season. I think it was just like the pizza and the beers.
I really like that a lot. Like, I love any messages from home.
I do want to bring up, though, I did love that Marianne is continuing to run with the joke that, like, if she were to get like a goodbye, like a message from home, it would be from Zach, and then Zach went as far as to send her one.
That'd be so funny. Like,
Watch those two at the end of the season. Be like, yeah, we've been secretly dating this whole time. This has not been a joke. We've been like legit. Like, it'd be so funny.
I'm here for it.
Oh, same. I'm here for it too. But I'm also like, we needed Zach. Honestly, we needed more Zach on this season. Get rid of Jonathan. Give us Zach.
They'd be so cute.
They really would. But we also thought Liana and Xander were going to date. And then Xander said, hey, there's Andrea. And I'm going to go.
I know. Liana and Xander would have been cute, though.
Yeah.
They all talk about how the way they all got along in the game was due to friendship, and Omar talks about how much Hai has told him Mike was his puppet, which isn't true at all, but really upsets Mike.
Again, just genius strategy from Omar here, because Mike believes like every second of this. Like there's no doubt in Mike's mind whatsoever. He wants Hai out like so badly now. And again, what I love about this is like Omar recognizes like this isn't necessarily the best move for Mike to go after Hai. But it's a good move for Omar because Omar is threatened by Hai and he needs Hai out. He notices that Hai's in like a really dominant position. Just again, it's excellent. Like I'm so impressed by what Omar is doing.
Like Lindsay's episode, but also an assist by Omar because he was fantastic.
Every episode he goes up higher for me in terms of like power rankings.
Oh, he's so good.
Yeah.
Lindsay tells them all about the amulet and how it will work, and how the amulet will be stronger if Hai is gone, but knows Jonathan is also standing in her way.
Yeah, so the amulet, it's something that I keep forgetting is in play, to be honest with you, because there's so many other like advantages. I feel like this has not been a very advantage-heavy season. Like 41, the advantages haven't played like a huge role in things. This is really, I feel like, the first time that an advantage has played a huge role in the episode. Because if you remember, the way the amulet works, which I forgot, is that the less people, the more powerful it becomes. So right now it's an amulet. It's not really anything that special. But if it goes down to 2 people, they now have like what is a steal vote, an extra vote, something like that. Yeah. And then if it's 1 person, it becomes an idol. So like, I feel like this is going to be, if Lindsay continues to use this strategy, like I definitely think that's a good way to go about it. But I also don't want her to do that because I don't want to lose Drea. Like straight up, I don't want to lose Drea. So
I need Drea and Marianne to stay.
But the way Lindsay plays this round, I could absolutely see her being like, you know what? I got Hai. I can just go for Drea and then I'll have an idol. So I hope she doesn't do that, but we'll see. So the next immunity goes down. Everyone then has to hold a ball above a rotating buoy and must stand in on a balance beam. This seemed like so fucking hard. Like I have no idea how anyone was able to do this. I would have been out like immediately with a comp like this.
This would have been so hard.
Yeah, like, this is not something.
You really have to like figure out the recoveries and stuff, and that would be like hard.
Yeah. So in what's a very intense comp, it does come down to Lindsay and Jonathan. Lindsay does, and this was so great to watch. Lindsay does win the Muni, secured her spot in the final 7. I was so worried that Jonathan was about to win this. Like he got so close, and like there were so many moments where like he had like a really steady recovery, but the moment where like he fell back and Lindsay ended up doing it, it was just so great to watch.
Lindsay deserved like this was her episode for sure.
Yeah. So everyone's proud of Lindsay, and Hai actually pitched hard for Jonathan to go, thinking that they're not going to get this chance again. And at this point, like I said, I kind of expected that's what was going to happen. Like he was going to go here because, again, they're not going to get that opportunity. But Mike wants to be Hai's puppet for the day, but plans to kind of vote him off next. And Mike goes to Jonathan and lets him know how much he wants Hai out, and Jonathan feels that this could be the only chance to get him out. So Jonathan and Hai are basically using the exact same logic here.
They are.
Then,
I was just saying they are.
Yeah. So Drea also realizes how strong of a game that Hai is playing, that they need to get him out in order to make her amulet steal a vote with Lindsay. So they're both using the same kind of logic with that, which I think is interesting with the amulet. But then Hai does something that at the time I thought was a good strategy, but looking back is actually really fucking dumb.
It kind of was.
He brings up to Jonathan that he has an idol and that they need to take out Romeo, and he will use the idol if he has to, and says that if he goes, Jonathan and Lindsay will be the next to go. There's 2 mistakes with this. One, where is the proof that Hai has this idol? Like, there's no proof whatsoever. There's no way for them to think that Hai has an idol, especially with like all the phrases being public knowledge and things like that. There's no way you can fake something like this. 2, he should not have said this to Jonathan. Hai's only chance of staying was for Jonathan to go. Romeo was not going to get votes. Like, I don't think anybody was going to vote for Romeo here. If anything, Romeo was probably the person that's been pushing the hardest for Hai to go, besides like Omar. So, like, you know, I just think that at first I thought this is kind of a good strategy, but looking back, I feel like this is the thing that kind of sealed his fate. Was this
this move. Like really like made him leave.
Yeah, like if the idol system was like normal, where it's like, you know, it's not public knowledge, it's like hard to figure out who has it. Like, yeah, maybe this could work, but because of the way the idol system is designed, a move like this is just never going to work. So
no,
yeah. This is definitely the thing that hurt him. So Omar sees this and realizes that they need to target Jonathan now in order to establish trust with Hai and make the move that they won't be able to again. So again, I thought Jonathan was going here. Like, I thought this kind of confirmed that's what was going to happen. But I also was kind of like on the fence because Hai could go, Romeo could go. I generally didn't know what was going to happen at this tribal, but Allie's about to talk to us about what's going to happen at this tribal.
All right. At the tribal, Lindsay brings up how she only chose people who didn't have a reward yet.
Yes.
Which is true. And we stan her.
Oh, yeah.
Mike talks about how at the reward, there wasn't much deep strategy, and they were just elated to be warm.
Yes.
And the vote goes down, and it's a very close vote between Hai and Jonathan, with
like
Hai
ridiculously close.
Oh yeah, so close. With Hai ultimately going, and I'm just gonna say, I really liked Hai's attitude during this because, like, he was so happy and excited that he left in a blindside because, like, he's like a true fan of the game, and so he was just like really taking that well.
It was a very classy exit. Like, I really liked it a lot because I feel like a lot of people, like, they come out of this game, they're kind of heated, they're kind of bitter. But Hai came out and he was like, job well done, like really good blindside. Like, he legitimately didn't see it going that way. I think he also was just generally very proud of the way that he played, which he should be. I think Hai played a really great game that was working for him for a little bit.
Like, he did a lot of moves.
No, he definitely did a lot of like underhanded stuff too, that I think if he was at the end, like, people would not have expected. I think the only thing that really did hurt Hai was Omar. I think Omar was the person that is responsible for Hai's demise here.
I think it was actually Hai and Romeo voted Jonathan.
Yeah, I think so. Well, a lot of people voted Jonathan. It was very close.
Wait, I'm trying. Oh,
let me go on the wiki for a second.
Because I think there was only 2 for Jonathan.
There's a voting chart there. All right, let me see.
He was very.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Okay, I guess it's probably just the way the votes were read. I just thought it was a closer vote than it was. Yeah, only High and Romeo voted Jonathan. Everyone else voted High, so it was 6-2.
Oh yeah.
So
unanimous.
So I apologize. It was not a close vote at all. High left 6-2, but yeah, there were 2. But I was surprised that Romeo voted for Jonathan and not for High, because especially
I know.
And people have brought this up. I think actually.
Oh, I feel like it could have just been if there was like a power.
Well, I think the other downfall of High's game was actually betraying Romeo. I think if High would have stuck closer to Romeo, who really wanted to work with High, went as far as to like wanted to be final 2 with him, I think that High would have had a lot more life in this game. But I think him being so like fixated on like, oh my God, Romeo's all paranoid, we got to get him out now. Like, I think that's what really like people were really starting to see through his game. So I think that's what really hurt him.
I feel like they could have been an unstoppable duo.
No, they definitely could have. Like High just like, turned on him immediately. And like, I think that's what really hurt him. So
High is shocked and has no regrets with how he played, thinking he was going to ruin it to the end, but is so impressed by what happened.
Which again, I love. I love that he just left very classy, very impressed. Like I think it's really good to see that. You can see that High's like a real fan of the game, and I really do love that here. We also
love him.
Yes, we do love High, especially him recently speaking out against things that Tori said about fucking Roe versus Wade and things like that.
Like, Tori is just a gross human being.
Oh yeah, she really is. But yeah, that leaves us with our final 7. Such an interesting group of people we have left here. Like generally, aside from Jonathan, any of them can win at this point.
Oh yeah, agreed.
Any of these people could win. If I really had to say, I think the front runners for me are definitely Mary, Andrea, and Omar. I think those 3 are definitely like the front runners to win. But we could still, we could surprisingly get a Mike win here. We could get like, it's definitely possible after this episode. Yeah, we could maybe get a Lindsay win. Romeo, slim, maybe very slim. I feel like Romeo is probably like the person that has the least shot. But I feel like he could.
And then Jonathan has no shot.
No, Jonathan has no shot. Like Jonathan's the only one we can count out. Everyone else, I feel like
his jury management is shit.
Yeah, well, his entire game has been shit.
And his strategy is awful.
Yeah, it really is. But yeah, that is where we leave. Pretty quick podcast. Not a ton to talk about moving forward.
It wasn't long.
Yeah, not a ton to really discuss. I'm excited to see how the rest of the game does play out, though, because like I said, I'm enjoying this merge phase significantly more than last season's. I feel like last season's was a lot more like not predictable necessarily, but it just kind of like petered out and it wasn't quite as interesting. So I just feel like this merge phase is just a lot more interesting to watch because it's been very unpredictable, I feel like.
Oh, yeah, I think so too. And it's been such a good season.
Yeah, definitely.
I cannot wait to see the rest.
Yes, excited to play out. But other than that, guys, that's it for our review of this episode of Survivor 42. As always, comment down below, let us know what you guys thought of this week's episode. Like I said, only 3 episodes left. I didn't realize that we were that close to the end. But yeah, crazy to think that we only have 3 left. And also, we do, of course...
We are going to be starting the circle this season.
Yes, we're going to be starting the circle later. Probably on Monday, I think, is when we're going to do the podcast. Which actually, we're going to watch 2 episodes like right after this. So
yeah, we did watch the first one, but we need to watch the other 3.
Yes, I will say right now, it's definitely better than last season.
Yeah,
that's all.
I honestly will say though, it could be the best yet, but we'll see.
Yeah, I'll leave it at that. But yeah, we're gonna start our coverage for that, so we're very excited to see how.
And also, stay tuned for our season interview, season review of Beyond the Edge.
Interview? You have connections that I don't know about.
Season review of Beyond the Edge.
gets Lauren Elena, messages her, be like, hey, we met in person. So like,
oh my God, that'd be so funny.
I don't know what the hell we're going to, I'll be honest with y'all. I have no idea what the hell we're going to discuss on this podcast, but we're going to try. We're going to try to make it happen.
Yeah, we'll do something for sure.
Yeah, we'll see how that goes. But other than that, that's it for our coverage of Survivor 42. That's it for this episode of The Conversation with Kely. As always, again, let us know what you guys thought. Love to hear thoughts on that. We'll see you guys in our next video, and we'll see you guys for that. Okay, bye.
Bye.